Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well and finally enjoying this nice weather that we're getting. It's finally starting to feel like how it should. Happy Monday. So this is the May Brooklyn Disability Council monthly meeting. We do have a pretty light agenda today, and some things have been moved around. IAC contacted me. They will not be here today, and they had no updates for us. That's what Richard told me earlier this morning. And I know Nina had just popped on that she won't be able to give an update from OPW until 11 unless her conflict ends a little bit earlier. So we're gonna flip things around a little bit. We can start with Brooklyn Council updates and committee updates from the Brooklyn Council. Obviously, as you guys have seen from all my emails, we have our Brooklyn Family Support Fair coming up Wednesday, June 5th from 9:30 to 2:30 at Brooklyn College in the Student Center. Agency registration for tables ended this past Friday. We have, I think, about 55 or 56 agencies that have registered for the event. So it should be a really good day to collect information, meet with different providers throughout the OPW service world, OPWDD themselves, New York City, MTA, transit, travel training programs, D75 schools, the libraries, both Brooklyn and New York City. So if you haven't registered yet, you do still need to register, even though it's free, as a professional or a family member or a person that we support. So please, if you need that link, I can post it in the chat in a little bit. It's on our website, bkddcouncil.org. Please make sure you register just so we can keep a head count and provide the college with how many people we're expecting. But that is coming up, so please make sure put it on your calendar and come join us that day. Any of the council's committee chairs have any updates about their committees, want to plug their committee meetings?
I can, Brian, for the family provider information. Do you want me to just do the whole report and then you want me to
You
do
might as well. You might as
okay.
well.
All right, good morning, everyone. As you know, I'm Deborah Gripe. Besides being the chair of the Brooklyn Family Sports Service Advisory Council, I'm the co-chair with Ms. Rose Saul for the Family Information and Provider. We had a joint meeting with Lucy, with the legislative as well as the advisory. It was done this past Wednesday, May 8th. And the biggest thing we were pushing about is how we need to advocate together year round. So that was a very, very important piece because one thing we've also are pushing is advocacy for our libraries, especially Brooklyn and from Manhattan, the Andrew Heskell Library that helps people who have visual or need to use books on tape or now in other versions. But it was a very well turned meeting, went very well. Both chairs from the legislative committee were between Lucina and I'm going to blank on her name, but please forgive me. We did we were able to explain that you just don't advocate, say, once a year to let your legislators know what help or services we need. We have to be there. They have to see us year round. And that also means that if, say, we also brought up if an agency, if you don't mind, but I'm going to use Heaven's Hands, is having a very nice event. We a great idea. It would invite the legislators that are in the area so they can come. And if they can't come, please make sure it's their staff. And we also explain how important it is to work with the staff because the staff, your elected official is still going to give the information back to the person who is handling that part of their constituency services. So it's a
Please
very
add Rosa to the mailing list.
hello.
So
Okay. So it's a very, very important that we work with you and don't be upset because the legislator would love to give you as much time as possible, but they're the ones actually at the government offices, if it's Albany, actually voting and working on legislation if things we need. So work with the staff so they can give you more time. You can get even a half an hour or more. And then you can really explain to them one-on-one what is really needed. So I'm just letting you know that the Family Provider Committee is not going to be meeting in June because the second Wednesday is the Family Support Fair. I don't think the Legislative Committee will be meeting that day. Now, the Advisory Council will be meeting as you know, Chris is probably going to send you a million emails, but the next Advisory Council is going to be on Tuesday, June 18th, virtually. And I want everybody to know also, on Wednesday, June 12th, that's the other reason why we're not doing the family provider. It's the statewide family support advisory meeting. It runs from 11 to 3. The last half the hour to a half hour will be the public session. People, you are invited. You can watch virtually. If you do come to, they have locations across New York State, so you can watch the statewide meeting and then during public session speak. So you can if you're having issues still with the ADM reimbursement or other things that are not working right or being positive, let OPWDD know, and it would be a big help. So we're hoping people will be able to attend there. You can always contact me through the Advisory Council email. It's bfssac@yahoo.com. And remember, we have a new website address. It is now www.bfssac.org. And that is up and running. And you know that we'll be having in July will be Disability Pride Month, and we'll be having our event at the Grand Army Plaza Library. Thank you, Carrie. I believe it's July 19th. Thank you so much. And Carrie, the reason why we also pushed very hard for support letters to the Brooklyn Public Library, because we were able to hold these resource fairs and we weren't charged. And we were able to reach. We went to Greenpoint, Coney Island. We've been to Kings Highway, Sunset Park. We are also going to, trust me, we'll get out to the East New York. We're going to be going around the different libraries that can host us. And that was, to us, that's great because not everybody knows. Trust me, they still think OPWDD. They don't even know what it is sometimes. So by us being able to let the local area and the library know, great. And yes, we will invite agencies. You let us know and we will see what rooms we can fit you in. Now, I have also another important thing I want everybody to know before I do Chris's report. HRA, people who have SNAP benefits plus their Medicaid card, this past Sunday, if you noticed you could not find out how much money was on your SNAP/Medicaid benefit card or purchase, because HRA changed vendors. Now, I tested it this morning. My benefits are still there. And all I had to do was just update the new vendor with my ID, that my card number with my PIN, so I could get online. And they have a new website that we will be emailing everybody so that you can also check online with your cell phone or on your laptop. So you should not lose your benefits. And they gave you information on how to fix that if there's a problem. Now, as you know, I have to go to read the other one. Excuse me, I'm doing this through the laptop. Okay, I have to do Christopher's report. As you know, Omni is slowly going through. Yes, now they have testers to do for the Accessoroid. Yes, I'm one of the testers, as well as Mrs. Menino. There's a few others who were added. What we're trying to do is that instead of us having to worry about carrying cash, as well as it makes it easier and safer for the drivers that we don't tap anything on the actual accessory, but they have it that I'm on. When I leave, then they have a button they can push that will say that I was on, I left the vehicle and they paid, and they'll take out the $2.90. Before anyone says, but it should be reduced fare. Let me tell you this. Fair Fares is a New York City HRA program. From age 18 to 64, everybody can get reduced fare who qualifies for Fair Fares. But the day you turn 65, you go back to the full fare for Access-a-Ride, which is $2.90. And please understand, I'm not going to blame our current mayor. It is not Mayor Adams' fault. That was former Mayor de Blasio's fault for not looking in and taking that into consideration. He assumed, oh, everybody gets half fare. No, we don't. That is not true. You pay the same fare as your non-disabled peers who use buses and trains. They also did a sign, and I will tell you that I do have I have on my card, my PCA, and in emergency, I am allowed to tap the card if, say, my accessory didn't show up or something happened and I couldn't have to get home, or I had to go, and then I can use that accessory card. But please do not, it's not to be used all the time. It is called for an emergency. So please, everybody. Now, I will do the best with Chris. All right. We have an MTA update. As you know, Memorial Day is this weekend, so it will be going on a holiday schedule for Memorial Day. There's going to be no J and L trains, and probably for the 3-day weekend. Why? At Broadway Junction, yes, they're trying to bring in elevators. Also want everybody to be aware, in the Broadway Junction is one of the original elevated lines that was when Brooklyn was a city. They have to repair them. You're right, it is annoying. It is frustrating. But you know something? They have to do all this repair work so we can have truly accessible stations. So persons who want to travel more can travel. So I know everyone gets very upset and frustrated. Yeah, I understand that. But they do have shuttle buses. And also know there's no J between Crescent Street, Brooklyn, and Broad Street, Manhattan. They have shuttle buses to replace the M and J trains. And the same for Myrtle Wyckoff. The L only goes up to from Myrtle Wyckoff to Canarsie Rockaway Parkway, excuse me. Shuttle buses replace the L. The Long Island Railroad will accommodate subway riders traveling between Brooklyn and Queens for no additional cost at these stations. Atlantic Terminal, accessible. Nostrand Avenue is accessible. It has elevators for both platforms. East New York doesn't have, but it can be, person with certain mobility devices can get on there. And Jamaica, they need to just show them that your Metro card, or show them that you can't get to Jamaica, Queens, because, and remind them, and they're supposed to cross Honor. Also, as Chris wants us to know, no two between Franklin Avenue, Medgar Evers College, and Flatbush Avenue. There will be shuttle buses to replace it, and that includes for the 3 and 4 to replace the 3. No 3 running. The 4 will replace the 3 to new lots. But there's going to be more information on the website, the MTA website, the Advisory Council's website, and we sent the information to Brian. Also, please remember, we will have the MTA coming to our fair. So if you want to update or sign up for reduced fare cards, please do. So that is the report I have. We hope that everybody will be able to attend not just only our family support fair, to our advisory council and also the statewide. And I will remind everybody, we are advocating very strongly, and OPWD is listening, about changes to the ADM for reimbursement. But please, again, do not blame our family support / reimbursement coordinator, Miss Angela Blades, or anyone at the Brooklyn Developmental Center. They did not make those changes. That was done up in Central. I want everyone to know that the advisory council does is advocacy. We let Albany know what's not working or not, what is working and what's not working. From the actual what's allowed or how to fix this, you need to talk to Miss Blades. Talk to her nicely. Don't blame her because she didn't do this. And I'm saying all of the other chairs, we have been across the state, we have been saying that because we know it's frustrating. We were used to doing reimbursement one way, but now there were changes. Yes, we're getting more and more of them to listen to us, but I don't want to give a partial report until they finish explaining to us, which will be done at the statewide. You also know that our current commissioner, Carrie Neifeld, will be leaving us. We will miss her. She did work with us as best as she can, so we wish everybody, we all are sending her wishes, and we will miss her. So that is the reports from between Christopher and myself. Also, I hope people to attend besides our Brooklyn DD Council, the subcommittees, as well as the advisory, please also go to your local community boards. It's very important because right now, the New York City DOT is trying to make changes to see which areas need the really, truly accessible curb cuts. Are we having trouble getting on buses when we try and there's cars parked in and the driver can't get to us? Or the traffic lights are too quick and you're stuck in the middle of the street? If the sidewalks are not correct or there's a lot of cracks and they haven't been fixed right, you can because I know that tomorrow, Community Board 15, you can bring that up through in person at our meetings, as well as any community board, but Community Board 13 also is advocating for changes to update and fix to make sure our sidewalks are truly accessible. And yes, I'm going to give a good update. For years, we complained about in front of Coney Island Hospital that you could not get on and off. I'm talking about if the B1 was northbound, the same for the B4 as well as the B36. They have made that bus stop so much bigger and wider that I was able to get on and to the B1 with no problem. And I saw two people with wheelchairs who use wheelchairs were able to transfer from the B1 to the B36 without a problem because there was enough room on those sidewalks. So even though it took time, it is going in the right direction. So I hope everyone will continue. We need to advocate. We need to let our local officials know how to make things more accessible. We need to also continue advocating to make sure our direct care professionals are being paid correctly. We also need to make sure, very important, that our libraries are going to be open 7 days a week. Do not cut any services at all. And that it's cheaper to keep the libraries open because the amount of help and services from birth to seniors is a valuable resource. So with that, that's my report. Brian, I'm done. Anybody have questions for me? Please go ahead. I'm ready.
Any questions from Debbie? Doris has a question for you, Debbie.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Debbie, could you please give us the date again in July for the mini resource fair at the library in July?
Friday, July 19th.
Friday,
Grant Dormy Plaza.
July
Did I
19th.
say it wrong, Carrie? Am I right, Carrie? Good, thank you.
It's July 12th. I put it in chat.
Oh,
It's
July
July
12th.
12th, yeah.
July
Sorry.
12th?
Yes,
Sorry.
July 12th.
Mhm.
Do you know, Carrie, the hours already? It's,
Always 11 to 1 for these. Well, I think we should have one in the evening later on, but for this one, 11 to 1.
11 to 1. We will eventually do, you know what would help if you want meetings or some of these mini resource fairs to be done in the evening. I'd appreciate everybody email me at the advisory council, be at bfssac@yahoo.com. Please let me know the days that are good for you for evening meetings and what are the evening hours anyway that we would have Carrie at an evening library for event?
Currently, we could go until 7:45 on a Tuesday or a Thursday. I say currently because until we have the final budget, we won't know. Evening hours are also threatened. In addition to Saturdays being threatened, Saturdays and Sundays threatened, evening hours are also threatened. It's like a 30% cut. This is the cut that was implemented in the fall, and then it's being baselined. So
Okay,
that's
well,
all I really know about that.
as you know, the advisory, we can do the advisory council meeting virtually, but I would like to also do a mini resource fair a couple of nights, because I know if people work. That's why, as you see, Tuesdays and Thursday nights, well, one night I'm never available, the third Tuesday or the fourth, but that's not a problem. We work everything around. But we need days, and the reason I say that is I've had evening of meeting and everyone begged me, pleaded, and like only 10 people showed up, or even less sometimes. And I really am saying to you, you want the evening meetings, you really need to please come and show up. You know, we try to accommodate and then people don't show up, and it's like upsetting. And that's why we just went back to day meetings, because it's not easy to run a meeting. It's not easy to do these resource fairs, but we need people to come. So is there anybody else who has a question for me?
Doris, you have your hand up again?
no, that's,
Oh.
at the lower.
All
Sorry.
right. Any other questions for Debbie? Rochelle?
It's not a question for Debbie. Thank you for your report, Debbie. I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
do a little plug for the employment committee if we could go to that.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Let me mute.
Okay, so we started or attempted to start our employment committee in the fall, and we have acknowledged, unfortunately, the other chairs aren't here, the actual chairs, Jahida Gonzalez and Jillian LeBron, who are two of the most knowledgeable people about employment supports for people with ID that I have ever encountered. And employment is such a critical issue and is a priority for the state at this moment, but it is a priority for our population. And so what we decided to do was we want to have a big meeting in the fall where we can really attract a lot of families and self-advocates who are understandably confused about the different programs for employment, and even some care managers to come and really learn all the details. It's sort of like everything you wanted to know about employment services, but were afraid to ask. And we'll be handing out a flyer, to notify people of this at our upcoming resource fair, the DD Council Fair. And but we really need to improve in self-advocate and family participation and individual participation so that we can get the word out. And I do believe we may be the only DD Council employment committee in the boroughs at the moment. And so it's really important to build this initiative. Thanks.
Thank you, Rochelle. And I know definitely shout out to Jahida and Jillian for trying to be creative with running meetings at different times, trying to get it in the afternoon, understanding that people, if they're exploring work, are probably working during the day and can't attend an employment committee meeting at 10 o'clock in the morning. So they've tried late afternoon, they've tried early evening. They're trying to work with whatever's gonna work best for the majority. So if we can get more people to attend and more feedback, that would be great. Some other quick updates. I know a lot of our chairs couldn't make it today. As we announced last month, unfortunately, with the passing of Heather, who was helping co-chair the transition committee, they will be, I guess, going back to the drawing board with some of our other committees to revamp for the fall when we kick back off, because meetings don't happen over the summer. So next month will be our last Brooklyn Council meeting. We'll still make sure to disseminate information and make sure you're on our mailing list so you get all that good news and information that comes out. But one of the things that they're looking is to maybe have some collaborative between the transition committee, the children's services committee, and some workings within the employment committee, because a lot of those topics do cross over to professionals in the same world and then some individuals as well. And we understand this was our first year really revamping the council since COVID, and maybe we did too much too soon, or just too much, period, that we were expecting everyone to be able to come to 10 committee meetings a month. Maybe it's better if we can consolidate some of those committees and then do some breakouts throughout the year. So if you really don't care about certain parts of transition or employment and you really care about children's, there'll be a part in transition that talks about children's, but then children's can break out maybe on a quarterly basis. Same for the adult transition. And if that works for everyone and we see attendance numbers go up, then we'll kind of run with that. So right now, the ladies are all kind of putting their heads together and see what makes the most sense and what's gonna make the best use of everyone's time, because we all know our time is very important. And we don't want people coming to meetings just staring at the same group every month and talking to only professionals. So that's what's going on there. If you are looking for those other committees and wondering why they've come off the calendar or why they're not being held like they used to the rest of the year. I also want to give one more plug. I know I already posted and I'll post it again in our chat with our fair coming up on June 5th. I also want to give a shout out to I'm going to say this wrong, Pretty Gal Hustle. They are donating a photo booth for the event. So that should be really fun. So make sure when you come, check out where the photo booth is. It'll be some stuff we can share on our social media and on our website, and just help get the word out there for future events. And if you see that, there will be, I think, people from Pretty Go Hustle coming around and getting some data and asking some questions, just so we know how we can improve on future events and what everyone's looking for by attending council meetings and events that we hold. Any other updates from any of our other members that are on before? Like I said, we're kind of flipping the script on this since we don't have IAC present and they said they didn't have updates. We do have DOH present, but they said they don't have updates. But I still want to thank Rihanna for being here from DOH. And Nina from OPW said she'll be back around 11. So if no one has any other announcements, Rochelle, did you want to give an update before we move to open announcements? You wanted to give an update on the stakeholder meeting? Did you still want to do that, or?
Yes, I do. So OPWDD has been having family stakeholder meetings for about almost a year or longer now. And the council just got invited to participate as part of an expansion. And so I have started attending the meetings. It's mostly, it is all family advocacy groups and the councils, and they've made a concerted effort to include organizations from minoritized communities. And so that's been a real advance. The meetings take place every other month, and it's only for an hour. I will say that most of us in the group feel that's not very adequate to have a substantive discussion. And what happens is our agendas keep growing because we never finish what's on the agenda. And and so it becomes somewhat unmanageable. But besides that, I will say that we have gotten some important discussions going with OPWDD, most recently in the issue of housing and residential services, where we were given some updates on how many closures there have been, et cetera, et cetera. Although LPW did inform us that they actually don't have a good sense of the number of vacancies within the voluntary certified residential sector. And whether you'll be working with providers to actually get more accurate information on that, because we all know there's a very long certified residential opportunity list, the CROW list, which most of us actually, I'll frankly call a waiting list, because that's what it is. It's people who are seeking placement. And beyond the people, the 4,000 or so people who are on the list, there are many others who have been just too discouraged to even apply at this point. So housing is a major, major problem for our population, and we will try to continue the dialogue with OPW. Most of what else we've discussed actually has been reported to us from Nina when she gives her reports every month, so I'm not going to repeat that. This is really the most novel part of the last meeting, and I will try to keep people apprised of what happens in these discussions. They are not formal advisory meetings. It's an informal meeting. It is not recorded, and there are no formal minutes or any binding resolutions. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the update, Rochelle. Let me just check to make sure I'm not missing any other notes that we had that we want to talk about. Okay. All right, so now while we wait for Nina to come back from her meeting, I think we can just move to general announcements. So as you guys have, if you want to raise your hand, jump on, and you can give your announcements. Also, please, after you give your announcements, put them in the chat so people can jot it down, and we also save the chat at the end and post it on our website. And for anyone that isn't aware, hopefully you are at this point, but if you go to the resources page on our website, that's where all the meeting recordings are linked to our YouTube page, and the chat transcripts are posted as well. So if you ever need to go back to find something, you can always go to the resources page on bkddcouncil.org. David, you have your hand up? And also thank you, David, for being here from Senator Prasad's office. We always appreciate your involvement and your support and her support.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. As always, I'll just present myself as a contact at our office if you need anything, you have questions, concerns. If you live in the district or work in the district and you want to share any quality of life issues that you think we might be able to help improve, we are here to help you do that as well. I have my information in the chat, and I'll just share two events that we have coming up. One is very exciting. We have free mammograms for pretty much everybody, every woman up to age 79. That's going to be happening June 27th. It's by registration. So if you're interested in registering for that, or you know anybody who would like to take advantage of that, call our office. Again, the number's in the chat, but it's 718-649-7653. That copays and deductibles will be waived, whether you have insurance or not. It's 100% no cost. So we're really looking to fill up those spots. Please register if you're interested. The other thing that I wanted to mention, I had it open a second ago. Let me bring it up. We did have an Able Gamers event that took place last week. That was for gaming for people with disabilities. There's a nonprofit called Able Gamers, and we hosted them at Canarsie High School. That was a huge success. We had many groups from HeartShare, and we had somewhere around probably 40 kids from Canarsie High School all take part in using the new equipment, the new technology that that group has been pushing for about the past 8 years, but it's new controllers, things that people who don't have use of both hands or either hand can use for gaming, and that's relaxation, which is very important for everybody. I did want to mention the other event, which is going to be our free legal services. We still have spots available for June 11th. So there are qualifying reasons that we schedule people for NILAG, but we didn't host NILAG about once a month here. And they are available for you, so you have to register by calling our office. But those spots are available, and if you don't fit within the guidelines of what they provide, we do have other legal referrals. So if you give us a call and it doesn't work out for NILAG, we're happy to get you in contact with another organization that can potentially provide free representation, or at the very least a free consultation, given what the need is. Thanks so much. That's all I had.
Thank you so much, David. And again, thank you for your attendance at all of our meetings. You've been very supportive, and thank you. Please send our thanks back to the senator as well.
Always.
Doris,
Let's have it on. You hear me? Okay.
we can.
Sorry about the fire engine in the background. My name is Doris Kahn, and I'm the outreach coordinator for New York State Institute on Disabilities. We're a family support agency, and summer is here, and I want everyone to know that we provide camp reimbursement. The camp has to have a New York State Department of Health certificate, and it cannot be waiver. It's not a waiver program. So if you're OPWD eligible, then you could apply for camp reimbursement. You contact Jackie Tripodi at 929-202-1115. And I put her number, her email in the chat, as well as the other services we provide. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Amber?
Hello. Thank you guys for having me. I just wanted to also express an event that is coming up. I'm a creative arts therapist at Kings County Hospital. I'm a part of the LEN program, which is the Leadership in Education for Neurodivergent Disabilities, which is hosted through Brooklyn and through SUNY Downstate. So as a part of that program and my work, I am hosting an event at SUNY Downstate. It's an opportunity for the community to come together and just have some chance for creative expression. So there's going to be myself as a dance therapist, there's going to be a music therapist there, and there's no registration required. It's really just a free opportunity to give out some resources and for people to come together and have that chance to share in the arts. We're hoping that this can be a repeated event throughout the year. It is something that, of course, for that to happen, we just have to show that people will come to it. So if you have anyone that you're interested or any people that you might want to share this with, I would highly appreciate it. And I hope to see as many people as we can there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I put your flyer in our chat, and I think that this morning before the meeting, I put it on our website as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
After the meeting, I can send it out to our mailing list so it hits more people.
Amazing.
Thank you for joining us. Sandy. Sandy, if you're talking, you're on mute. All right, we'll come back to you, Sandy. Carrie?
Hi. I was just writing a quick note to Amber that Brooklyn Public Library would love to come and share resources. So let's be in touch. Yes, Brooklyn Public Library, good morning. You see in the back, the basement of our central library. This is an exclusive behind the scenes look at the Brooklyn Public Library. And yeah, so there you go. Folding tables, messy desks, and open ceilings. Welcome. But it's much nicer upstairs where the public comes. So I'm here to talk about a couple of events that we have coming up. The first one is tonight. I know it's short notice, but this is going to be an amazing event. We have, it's called Autistic Adulthood, and we have 3 autistic adults who are part of a panel discussion talking about autistic adulthood. I mean, like one thing we know is that students coming out of Department of Education programs don't have a lot of role models for the future and what things can look like. And, you know, that's important, right? I mean, if you think back when you graduated from high school or even college, there were people that you know, you thought about things that you thought about doing, things like that. You had role models and people to look at to see what they were doing. So a lot of our students don't, and this is one effort to change that. So Michael John Carley, who is an author and advocate, self-advocate, Michael Letterman, who has a great YouTube site. He is currently he is a recent Department of Education graduate, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the third person's name. But her first name is Nicole, and she is the convener of Autistic Adults NYC. So please come and check them out at our central library upstairs, I promise, not down in the basement, at from 6:30 to 7:30 this evening. Then we have our sort of normal or our regular events coming up, our in navigating disability system, one-to-one help. I put the July and June and July dates in the chat. Again, for people needing just to talk to somebody, right, about what's going on with their child's IEP or trying to navigate OPWDD systems or SSI, Medicaid, any of that, we can help. So that's in the chat. And finally, our annual our annual event workshop on special education busing in August. This is an important one. We do it in August because that's when parents are finding out or not finding out about their busing and what that's going to be and what it's going to look like. So that's August 7th. And then, yeah, and then of course the fair that we talked about in July, which will be a celebration of the 20th anniversary. I'm sorry, whoa, that was wrong. Of the 30th anniversary of the Americans with, or the 25th. Okay, I can't count, haven't had enough coffee. The anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act and in celebration of Disability Pride Month. So that's June 12th. 34. I am getting old.
That's okay, I'm old too.
So that's at our central library from 11 to 12 on June 12th. And I think that that's really it, except for our recreational programs. And we have a lot of those. So check out our website or let me know if you want to be on the mailing list and I can share those with you. Thank you. And Brian, thank you so much for sharing out our programs. We appreciate it. That's it. That's all I know.
All right, you're welcome, and thank you, Carrie. And again, if any other agencies out there have newsletters or events coming up that they want to share, please just send it to me, and I'll make sure it goes out to the Brooklyn Council mailing list. Or if you have flyers, I can get them on our website, aside from the mailing list. So never hesitate to send stuff my way, and I'll get it out usually within the same day, sometimes the next day. Sandy, are you back with us?
I am. Hi, Brian.
All right,
Hi,
we can hear you.
everybody. Oh, yay. Okay, good. Maybe you can even see me now.
Oh, we can see you too.
Hooray. Okay, I just want to let you know about 3 upcoming webinars that Adapt Community Network is offering. The first one is this Thursday. It's Benefits and Entitlements. It's this Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And Gary Schulman will be the speaker. The next one coming up is Thursday, May 29th. The use of psychiatric medications in the treatment of individuals with autism and related disorders. And Dr. Pilar Trellis from Harvard University will be our speaker. And the next one is on Thursday, June 6th. 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And that will be using sensory integration strategies to promote participation in ADLs, activities of daily living. They're all free. We always provide Spanish and Mandarin interpretation. And Everything about them is in the chat, and the flyers are in the chat. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. Any other announcements? I know we're still waiting for Nina from OPW. She should be coming on in about 10 minutes. This is probably the quickest meeting we've ever had, so usually we don't run into that issue.
Brian, I wanted to update everyone. I was at the HHC public hearing for Brooklyn. Because remember we discussed there were issues with the dental clinics. This past week, there was a HHC public hearing at Kings County. And one of the big issues that I brought up was that there's everybody, since COVID, if you try to bring your child with an emergency dental where they need, especially our children with special needs, to have their tooth pulled or have emergency dental work because they broke a tooth or something, 99% of the insurance agencies send us to these these places that advertise that they do emergency and they don't. So you now are forced to either go to Kings County Emergency for Dental, Lutheran, so they can do the emergency, but when you need general dental care, the appointments are more than a year away. So this doesn't help our population at all, because it's not just having your tooth pulled. You know, our children need to have good dental care, and the waiting lists for just basic, even just basic cleaning and just a basic checkup is so long. That's why many of our children get severe toothaches or issues. So I brought that issue up because I was pissed beyond belief when I had to bring my child to have an emergency dental pull, and I had to get there by, I think, if I got there at 6:30 and we were number 12. Yes, they did see him that same day. We were very lucky that he was able to be seen and pulled, but think about the other, and he was not the only special needs patient there, and some of them had to keep coming back different days because they couldn't do everything in one day. And that's really unbelievable that they still have not fixed or improved dental clinics for people with disabilities. And David from Senator Prasad's office was there, and he took notes, and I appreciate you being there because it's a very big issue for our population, and it frustrates us beyond belief. So I wanted to bring that up to everyone, that we need to also advocate to improve our physical. We need to have the clinics for dental as well as physical to have more doctors that can deal with our children so that we can get them to take care of their child's dental health, which does affect their physical health. Because if you don't take care of your teeth, it can affect your heart, your brain, and other things. And it also affects our children's behaviors. So we need to have the elected officials see to it that dental clinics are funded better. I put pressure also on, as you know, they rebuilt up, now they call it South Brooklyn Health. And I said to them, I want to see Coney Island Hospital, that I should have been able to bring him into the dental area there for them to remove his tooth instead of having to go into Kings County. There's nothing against Kings County. The clinic did a great job. They've improved it. It's very clean. They worked the best they could, and they did a great job. He had no complications. But what would have happened if we didn't have Kings County? And Bellevue would have been packed beyond, it's even more packed than Kings County, as well as Jacoby, Elmhurst. And Staten Island does not have any emergency hospitals that can do dental care.
So Debbie, where can the advocacy efforts go to?
One, we have to complain directly to the HHC main office, which I will get that information that we could put on our website. But we have to let our city, like one of the city councilwomen, Mercedes Narcisse, is on. I think she chairs the hospital committee. We need to also let our state officials, assembly, and state senators know, because this is unacceptable. It's also unacceptable that the insurance agencies, like example, Metro Plus, WellCare, Health First, told us that we could take him to, they gave me all these emergency dentists, and when I called, they said, oh no, we don't do that anymore, but you're advertising it. So for the insurance agencies, I don't know where to complain about the insurance agencies that are doing this, because it is a very serious issue. So I'm trying to find out, but the only ones I get an answer from are the city hospitals. It's frustrating. So we need to pursue this, and we have to keep on their cases for the next forever, because I'm tired of us not having, and I want everyone to say, I am not putting down the Article 16 and 28 clinics. They do the best, but they are overwhelmed too. So we need to figure out how to improve the healthcare for our children or individuals. So this is a work in progress, Brian, and I'm glad. Thank you for letting me bring this up.
Yep. No, it's an issue that's not going to go away. And unfortunately, in our world, likely will get worse before it gets better. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I see there's 2 hands up. I don't know. Are they questions for Debbie or other comments or announcements you guys want to make?
For me, it's a little follow-up for what Debbie was discussing about dental care. And just to say that this issue of lack of access to appropriate dental care and medical care for our population is one I think that has actually increasingly been recognized. The main problem, and actually Medicaid has increased its reimbursement and started to include root canal, for example, where previously the only option was for extraction. So that's actually a major improvement. The problem is what they pay for root canal is not really a competitive reimbursement. And so finding providers who will accept Medicaid, given the generally still low reimbursement rates, is problematic. And there is initiative from the federal government and also on the state level to say that there should not be disparities between what Medicare pays for a procedure and what Medicaid pays for a procedure. Now, of course, Medicare doesn't cover dental, so it won't help us in that area, but the general philosophical approach of parity for reimbursement for people who rely on Medicaid for their medical and dental care is really critical. And since this has been raised, I do see a lot of material around this that gets circulated from federal advocacy and state advocacy groups. So I will begin to share that with the council as well, because it's not a Brooklyn problem. It's not an HHC problem. The only thing positive I will say is there was significant improvement in reimbursement for our Article 28 clinics in the last budget. And I hope that will help them in recruitment of providers, that they will be able to pay them a more competitive salary. But it is a very big problem for all of us.
Thank you, Rochelle, because this is something I've been complaining about for years. And they'll look at me like, well, but your son has Medicaid. I don't care. He's not the only one. We need proper care for their health. I mean, I tell everyone, they say, well, yeah, I know my child is high functioning, so I don't have some of the issues. I mean, when I brought him in, they said, are you sure he's special needs? I said, yeah, trust me, his mother knows. But the point is that it can't keep falling on deaf ears. They need to hear what we're saying. I mean, even if we had to do a ad hoc committee where we did a health committee where we have to fight to advocate, because this has gotten not great at all. I have been there in the emergency when they've brought individuals from the group homes who are crying in pain and they need help and they don't know how to handle that. I've seen it at Lutheran. I've seen it at Kings County. I've seen it all over, and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. And we have to do something about it. And thank you, Rochelle. I appreciate it. And I would love to work. Let's work together as a team.
All right. Sandy, you have another question or another announcement?
Brian and
No,
I.
No, Brian, thank you.
All right. And I do see Nina's with us now, so I will hand it over to Nina as long as you're ready, and
Yes,
you
I
can
am.
close us out.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and thank you for waiting for me. I'm sorry I was double booked this morning, but I'm happy to be here with all of you. I'm gonna start with some highlights, with some updates on our campaigns. The first one is Modern Work. As you know, on March 19, OPWDD launched a new campaign with the agencies, which is called Modern Work. We are trying to connect people who are looking for jobs to our DD field, and at the same time, we are educating public about the importance of our career. Up to date, we have more than 200 providers who are participating in our campaign, and that have registered with our on our website, Modern Work. And if there are any service providers who have not registered yet, please connect with our communications office. There's still time to join us and join this campaign. Our second campaign, Look Beyond My Developmental Disability, was announced last July, and it's a year-long campaign that fights the stigma that people with developmental disabilities face in their daily lives. With this campaign, we are using public forums, social and mass media, radio, and print advertising to educate the public about developmental disabilities and highlight the positive ways people with DD contribute to their communities. And so that campaign started in December and will run through the spring. We are happy to report that paid media portion has already resulted in more than 53 million impressions, 3 million video views, and over 110,000 clicks. So that is quite a success. With OPWDD strategic plan, we are excited to announce the statewide schedule for our 2024 strategic planning forums. And these forums, as you know, will provide an opportunity to share an update on our strategic plans and then goals and objectives, and to hear feedback on our efforts directly from people, families, and providers. We hope that you can join us in one of the upcoming forums. In New York City, we have a forum scheduled for July, on July 9th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Albert Einstein College of Medicine in the Bronx. Last week, we had a successful forum on Long Island. We had a big audience, and we collected comments and feedback from the families and individuals. Next Tuesday, it will be a forum in the Capital Region. It will be on May 28th in Saratoga Springs. Next Thursday, May 30th, we'll have a forum in North Country. And in June, we'll have 2 more forums in Western New York and Hudson Valley. So details for those forums are on our website. For those who are not able to join us in person, no worries. We will be hosting virtual forums later this summer, and we'll share details on how people can join us. These forums are designed to center conversation around the OPWDD strategic plan and the work we've been doing on achieving and the vision that laid out in the plan. The plan, as we remember, was released in November 2022, and the plan represents a designed vision for advancing OPWDD supports and services, policies, and operations over the next several years. Each forum that is upcoming will include a brief update on our OPWDD strategic plan progress, a short question and answer session, and we will have a robust public comment period. If anyone is interested in participating in public comment, we'll have 3 minutes to share their experience, ideas, and suggestions directly with OPWDD staff and leadership attending each forum. Following these forums, the feedback will be compiled and analyzed to identify common themes and trends. An analysis of that feedback will be disseminated in our forthcoming 2024 annual report. And we encourage individuals attending each forum to review both our strategic plan and our 2023 annual report, which can be found on OPWDD website, and it's also translated in 12 plain languages. My next update is for fiscal intermediaries. OPWDD issued a survey to fiscal intermediaries on April 18 to facilitate phase 2 amendments to FI contracts for 2024. It's intended to cover the remaining months in the contract period ending December 31st, 2024. In addition, the survey will be used to inform the next FI contract cycle. And surveys were due back to OPWDD on May 2nd. And currently we are evaluating the survey results, and we anticipate the contract amendment process will begin in early June. The next thing I would like to mention that earlier this year, we announced several initiatives and incentives to the agencies. One of the first one was funding for community transition to the individuals who are in residential schools or for the individuals who are in the hospitals. We also provided funding to the agencies to meet a certain HCBS setting standards that was for privacy door locks, and we also provided one-time bonuses for direct service staff retention, and providers who met qualifications and submitted the attestation, they have received the funding on a rolling basis in February and March 2024. The enacted budget also included a COLA of 2.84% and 1.7% of which provides salary increases to the staff. The update from Georgetown University, as you probably aware, Georgetown University hosted regional provider forums in the beginning of May. CEOs of provider agencies or their designated staff spoke about organizations' diversity, equity and inclusion, and cultural and linguistic competence practices. Georgetown University has launched a process to help agencies engage in organizational self-assessment and receive technical assistance. The assessment Georgetown will be using is called the Cultural and Linguistic Competence Assessment for Disability Organization. And the university is working with the providers right now and OPWDD state operations to modify the assessment and then implement the self-assessment process. With self-direction evaluation, I mentioned previously that Guidehouse was selected to evaluate our self-direction program, and the goal is to make this program more accessible and sustainable for people who qualify to self-direct their services. The Guidehouse is in the process right now, and additional updates will be provided related to stakeholder engagement and outreach to us soon. And we hope this evaluation will be completed in the beginning of next year. Guidehouse was also selected for evaluation of managed care program. As you know, for the last 2 years, they've been meeting with the stakeholders, collecting feedback from the families. They had whole meetings, they had surveys, and they are working right now on the final report. We are hoping that we're gonna see this report. The final report will be available in late spring. I would like to mention that Center for Medicare and Medicaid issued 2 final rules. The first one is ensuring access to Medicaid services and generally being referred to as an access rule. And the other rule is for Medicaid and children's health insurance programs for managed care access, finance, and quality. The access rule is a historic action that will benefit the developmental disability service system by strengthening access to HCBS and increasing transparency, better supporting direct support professionals, and refocusing quality measures on outcomes for people receiving HCBS services. The proposed changes will strengthen safeguards to ensure health and welfare of our population, promote health equity, and achieve a more consistent and coordinated approach to the administration of policies and procedures across Medicaid and HCBS services programs. With the implementation of the final rule, the implementation of this rule will be challenging as it presents our service system with an opportunity to create transformative change and to improve holistic access to care. The requirement of the final rule align with OPWDD ongoing work and goal on our strategic plan. And as we are trying to improve equity and access to services and to help people with developmental disability to live as independently as possible with their communities. So we're looking forward to work with people with developmental disabilities, families, and advocates, and our provider community, of course, on implementation over the next several years. And finally, I wanted to mention today, and I will let you go then, that on April 24, we have released a draft of the ADM for public comment. This is the ADM 2019-06, which describes the service, program, and payment standards and service documentation requirements to support a provider claim for Medicaid reimbursement for support brokerage. So as you know, support brokerage services are available for home and community-based services for authorized individuals who self-direct their services. Individuals self-directing their services received individualized budgets and they direct pursuant to an approved plan. The ADM incorporates the term care planning team and clarifies required and allowable billable services, meetings, and documentation requirements. So comments for this ADM, for the revisions to the ADM are due to OPWDD by this Thursday, May 23rd. So if you have anything to add or you have some feedback that you would like to provide, please do. You have time till May close of business day of May 23rd. And that's it for me today. Okay.
Thank you so much, Nina. Rochelle has a question for you.
I do have a couple of questions. I hesitate to ask you to speak any longer. You gave us such a comprehensive report, but I do have a couple of questions. And you may not know the answers, I realize that, but at least to bring it back and see if we can get some more information.
Sure.
There are not many, but there are some family members who are asking about what happened with the ombudsperson that was approved in the last year's budget and funded in the last year's budget, but we haven't even seen an RFP yet for a provider for that service. So we'd like to have some timeline of when we can expect to see that program get started.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have information on that? Or
No.
But maybe not. And then the other question is, this is coming from actually a significant number of families, that they were surprised when they had their care manager submit a service authorization request. And by the way, we're all happy that the request is now electronic with a paper trail in the system and not just on forms. So that was a real advance. But when that was implemented, there was a new requirement that any of these SART forms have to also have attached a recent CAS assessment for the individual, recent being defined within the last 2 years. And that was quite surprising to people. I know that the CCOs were notified of this shortly before it was implemented. And I did go on the website and I did see it, but it does seem to me that this may have been something that should have been announced in councils and other forums, because it has a very significant impact on how service requests can get approved. And I'll tell you now that because so many people are now asking for CAS assessments, in addition to incoming people to the system who need CAS assessments, the routine reassessments when people have a change in status, that people have to wait a while to get an appointment for a new CAS, and that's delaying the whole service authorization process. So part of this is a concern about communication, that this should have been, better disseminated in advance so people were not kind of blindsided by this. But the other is to make OPW aware that it is causing delays. And this is problematic for individuals and families.
I don't know oversee the waiver unit. Michelle Giuliano, she was our expert in covering front door and waiver services. I do know that SART was implemented together with the ESAL, with the legislation that went out last year, that we do have requirements when the waiver services should be approved. We have the time frames. The SART process is new, and usually it takes people time for adjustment, but it's so much better than SARF. It will help us to catch with all the backlogs that we had, and we can really track right now. We can see what is happening. I'll have to Rochelle, take it back and bring it to the next meeting about the CAS requirement of the SARS submission, and maybe at the next meeting I'll speak more about this, or I'll bring Michelle with me so she can talk about this new process.
That would be great, Nina. And just one final point on this, which is we were kind of promised by OPW that there would be another round of meetings to inform individuals and families more about the CAS and how it's going to be used. I have heard nothing for quite a while. So that would be another question, if you could get us some more information on that.
Okay. I do know that we have the work group on CAS, and I do know that OPWDD was evaluating and working on this, because the whole grade system was supposed to change when the CAS implementation that would replace DDP2 scores. But I will get the update by the next meeting. Great.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, just to add on, I think it would be nice if you got, whether it's Michelle or just get the information from her, because I know this started on March 1st. And if, do you guys have data on, is it more effective? Is it moving things along better? Like the whole intent of going electronic, is it hitting the mark? Because I think that would be good to know.
Well, just one thing on that. Once it's submitted, I have no doubt that it's moving things along better, but it cannot be submitted without a current CAS. That's the issue.
Yeah. I know from my agency end, I've seen less kickbacks, less back and forth emails where something wasn't filled out correctly, because it's all electronic now. So I think it's been smoother in that regard. But I just don't know if you guys have data in like total time frame. Is it working? Is it meeting what you guys were expecting?
Okay. We'll get that data.
All right, thank you. And I see Debbie has a question for you.
Yes, I do. Nina, in reference with the CAS, especially with START, where do we suggest families to go if they need the CAS and to be updated? I would also appreciate if you can, either you or Michelle can our meeting, the advisory council is on June 18th. And
Mhm.
virtually, and we do need to know, because I do have families who use Start and want to use Start. And now with the cast, I need to understand this. So when I'm helping advocate so the families get the right services, I would appreciate. I mean, if you guys want to do the whole meeting, that's fine with us. Because
Wait, Debbie, I'm sorry. I just want to clarify, not start. We're not talking about the start
no, I'm
program.
talking about the
The
cast.
SART.
Sort.
Yeah, but we're
But the cast.
the SART. Yeah, but are you talking about what Rochelle was like? Are you
Yes, yes,
to
I
Rochelle's
am.
point? But that's not. She wasn't talking about the start. The SART is the. I don't even remember what it stands for anymore, and forgive me. But it replaced the SARF for the approval paperwork. So the care manager can't submit the SART, SART.
Okay, I understand it, but you know how many families have called and complained to me on a regular basis about that their care managers don't understand this. They don't understand what to ask for or what to do. So if you can update us when you alter the advisory council, that makes it easier, because one of all the advisory council working with, we help the families understand what help or services they need. And there are times they've asked the care manager, well, where am I going to go get a cast? Where do I do this and that? So, if you have updated information, that will help us, because we can then advise the families what to do. Because I get so many complaints about the care managers, and I also tell families, I will help you, but you also have to submit a complaint in writing. And I said, I'll back it up, but I need to see it. But this will help me so I can be so we, the council, can advise our families to do better. That's what I really need. It would appreciate the guidance and the help, because we do have families whose children may be living at home, they be going to residence, or be eventually getting there, or if there's other things they need. And they ask me all these questions, so instead of me assuming, I don't act like I know everything, I don't. So it would be a big help if you could also let us know, the advisory council. I'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I was muted. Rochelle, go ahead.
Just as a clarification, we know that the care manager has to request a CAS. And that's not a complicated procedure. They do that within the system. The problem is getting the CAS and coordinating all that and getting it in a timely manner, which the care manager does not control. That's a complicated process between the assessor, the family, the individual, and the care manager as well. And it's not primarily on the care manager who causes the issue. But I think just more information, Nina, will be very helpful for everybody here. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you, Rochelle. Care manager.
All right, Nina, I don't see any other questions for you. So thank you so much again for coming back and fitting us in. Very useful and informative as always. We really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
All right. Does anyone, we kind of did our agenda in reverse today. So did anyone come on late and have any announcements they want to make before we end? All right, I don't see any hands. Again, I will post the recording. I will post the chat on our website. And please remember to register for the fair, even though it's free. If you're coming not for a table, we still need to know numbers and who you are, and give information to the college, so they can make sure everyone is safe and accounted for. So that is in our chat as well, on our website. And if there's no other questions, then
Brian,
thank you, everyone.
Brian, are we having a meeting in June, or because of the fair, no meeting until next year?
That's a good question. I have it on the calendar. I planned on keeping it because the fair is early in the month, the meeting's later. So my intentions were to keep the meeting in June, since that would be our last one for the year.
Sounds
But
good.
thank you for asking that, because I know a lot of other councils don't hold it when they have one. But since it's in our last month, we might as well. All right, so if there's nothing else, I hope everyone has a great Memorial Day. And
Thank you, Brian.
I'm sure you'll get plenty of
you.
emails from me with updates.
Yes, and everyone send everything also to us at the advisory council too. Brian and I, both councils work as a team. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, take care, everyone.
Enjoy your week.
Bye. Bye, bye, bye.